Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're joined with Nicolas Sacandelidze, a good
Hi,
friend of
everybody.
mine, an amazing software engineer, and a great tech enthusiast as well. Hi Nicolas again.
Hi, once again.
For today's talk, I gathered a couple of questions from my LinkedIn peers about early career in software engineering, and I will be just reading them out loud, and Nicolas and I will just express our opinions on them. Does that sound good to you, Nicolas?
Oh, yeah, it's a bit too much responsibility for me to be the first guest on your YouTube channel, but yeah, let's do it, I guess.
You'll handle it. No worries. So the first question sounds like this. I have no background in software engineering. What's the first step to get started?
Oh,
That's a pretty
before
good
we,
question. Yeah.
sorry, like before we dive in, so like, are all of these questions from beginner software engineers, or are there these
Yeah.
questions kind of
Mostly,
mixed up?
mostly from
Mm-hmm.
beginners to early career engineers.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, let me repeat this first question. It sounds like this. I have no background in software engineering. What's the first step to get started? So it's an amazing question, and actually, a lot of self-learned software engineers have been there already. Nicholas and I were kind of lucky to study software engineering at the university, but a lot of my peers in my network dealt with this question initially. Okay, let me just share some of my experience regarding learning new things, and I think it will kind of I think everyone will be able to relate it to their own to this specific case. So whenever I try to learn new things, the first thing I do, I go to youtube.com and search for some very general and basic beginner friendly videos about that topic. In this case, I would have searched some things like what is software engineering? How to get started in software engineering? How to code, etc. I would watch a couple of videos, shorter ones, and at this point, I will have some kind of an impression about this topic, about software engineering, what it is, and at least I will I will have some questions. And usually, after completing this step, I kind of know I want to continue learning that topic or not. So that's one good thing. Another step, which I take as well when learning new stuff, is I search for some beginner-friendly courses. And initially, like courses are a really good thing to kind of get some structured knowledge about this topic. And I would recommend a specific course which is called CS50. It's Harvard University's free course, and it's kind of introduction in software engineering, we can say. And what's very special about this course is that it's for everyone. It's for medical students, it's for business school students, it's for lawyers. I mean, this course is created for people of any background to get general ideas about software engineering and what it is. So I will definitely leave this in description below, and you can check this out. Nicholas, maybe you can
So
add
like,
something.
yeah, actually, I at first have this kind of a question. So like, I'm not actually familiar with the format of the video. So like, I can also ask questions to you, right? Because like, I have a couple of questions at the moment.
No, you'll be definitely punished and fined
Come on, man. Yeah. So
for
like,
that.
you, as I understand at the moment, you mentioned two kind of suggestions, right? Watch YouTube videos and go to courses and learn some courses. And you had this one suggestion of CS50, right? But
Yeah.
I have one additional question. So, bunch of like junior and intern engineers around me have this kind of a problem. And the problem sounds next. Like I feel like I'm wasting lots and lots of time watching these different random YouTube videos, starting some courses that I know I won't finish in the future, and etc. And the question usually sounds like this: like, is it okay to feel this kind of lost and feel that you are literally wasting your time watching a random YouTube videos, or is it some kind of an exception that you need to explicitly handle? What do you think?
Okay, let me try to show two different perspectives in that scenario. Okay.
Sure.
The first thing is I usually recommend anyone during learning process to come up with some plan. So before you start learning some things, research a bit. So what things you are going to learn and what is your goal, right? And kind of build this self-made curriculum towards that goal. And once you consume some short resource, for example, watch some video, and you feel that it's waste of your time, just stop watching it and think about where does this video live in this plan. So where is it actually? Does it is it a part? Is it a small part of this whole plan, of this whole knowledge? Because usually, especially for the beginners, you watch a lot of different things, and usually they add up as a compound knowledge. And so that's one thing. Pay attention to that. And another thing is that everything is good with that plan, and you just came across with a bad resource. And that's really common too. I personally found myself a lot in such scenarios when I started to read some book and I was just not interested in it, and I was reading because I thought this is how this process works, but actually it just gave me zero value. So pay attention to that as well, and somehow learn to quickly quit those resources which are not valuable for you.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, so like just as I understood, like it is totally okay to waste time. I think even most of the time you spend initially will be wasted. It won't be as productive as you might think, but yeah, as you already said, I guess it's kind of a compounding process, right? Learning is a compounding process. These were your words, as I remember.
Yeah, and actually, you should learn how to learn on your own. And without
Damn, that
those
sounds so
wastes,
cool.
yeah, and without those wastes of time and without those failures in learning process, you're never gonna do that. So
Perfect. And
that's
maybe like apart from asking these strange questions, let me also add one suggestion from my side. Just because like ChatGPT today is so popular literally that we should not like miss it, right? Just whatever questions you'll have in your mind, what curriculum to follow, what is software engineering, literally any kind of question that you would ask to Archil or some other experienced software engineer, like be sure to direct those kind of questions to ChatGPT, and trust me, the answers you'll get won't be any worse than answers from some kind of like experienced software engineer.
yeah, that's great point. So it's really a crime in our days not to use ChatGPT, especially for
Exactly.
learning purposes and especially for asking questions, because that's what is the best, right?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
okay, great. Let's go to another question, and it
Even
sounds
though
like this.
these answers seem like straightforward and easy stuff, this is what actually the learning process like looks like, right?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect.
Guys, if you expected that Nicholas and I would give you some magic formula how to learn
Exactly,
things
exactly.
perfectly,
Come on, like I'm sure that there would be those kind of people, but
I really doubt if we knew that we were sitting here recording this video. So
agree. Couldn't
it's
agree
really,
more.
really
So let's
painful
continue.
process.
So let's
Yeah, let's
continue.
go on. So the second question sounds like this. I'm having trouble finding reliable learning resources. Any advice on where to look and how to choose? So we kind of partially touched this point in previous question, but maybe you could, Nicholas, kind of share your process of learning and particularly your process of searching the resources, and how do you get to the resources and how you kind of evaluate them, and maybe you could walk us through your thought process and flow.
Sure, I'll be glad to. Like the thought process that I usually have when I want to learn new thing is next. What do I want to find or learn the specific topic using like reading more or watching more? Because like as you know, there are some people who are like visual learners who like simply learn bunch of things when they read, when they watch some things, and there are people who learn much effectively when they listen to things, right? Because like, and it depends what kind of a person you are. I hope you kind of understand at this point in time what type of person you are, and if you are better with reading, you should for sure, I would like literally recommend everyone to search for books. Like directly go to Goodreads or Amazon and search whatever topic you would like to find the book in, and simply maybe just look at the stars of the book and start reading it, right? It has worked for me for sure, because like I'm a big time reader. I can't actually learn effectively while listening. I need to be on my own to read, and that has worked for me, sure. And I'm actually surprised how many engineers don't even try to read the engineering books about languages like JavaScript, Java, and etc. But trust me, there are literally gold-like informations in those books that will benefit you a lot. But on the other side, if you are a learner who loves to listen to courses, listen to lectures, and etc., make sure to check all the popular university courses like Harvard, MIT, and etc. Because most often, like exactly Achu just mentioned, CS50 and other courses like that, they have these courses open source and free. So like
Especially in engineering, right? So computer
oh
science
yeah,
subjects are
yeah. So like
mostly
yeah, you
free.
can directly right now go to MIT OpenCourseware, this webpage, where you will see, I guess, hundreds of free courses on any topic, starting from specific languages like JavaScript, ending with some complex machine learning stuff. So just to revise one more time, right? Just look for popular and established courses from popular and established universities. It will, for sure won't be a waste of time for first, and trust me, bunch of people has already tested those kind of resources, and you will just feel secure to invest time in.
Yeah, perfect. And yeah, just one more maybe short comment about books, that I love watching book reviews on YouTube before starting to read this book,
Oh
because
really?
if the book, yeah, if the book is really good, there are even YouTubers who make their content on discussing book chapters, software engineering book chapters. So
Mm.
that will give you a very good impression whether or not that book is good or not. So, and you can also check some YouTube video comments, etc. So you
But
can
there
feel
will
safe.
also be kind of books that will be hyped, right? That won't do any good for you, but you maybe, so like let's say it this way, right? You will find, I'm pretty much sure you will find at least 1,000 videos about clean code or some like
Yeah,
hyped book about that.
I'm not a big clean code fan. So,
That's
but
so
everyone
funny,
is
yeah.
hyped. It's like a Bible, and everyone says, "Oh, clean code, you should
Exactly.
read it."
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting point. I think I should like research a bit about that a bit more too. Thank you.
Okay, great. Let's move on to another question, which sounds like, what technologies should I start with as a beginner? How important is this? I think a person is kind of asking about some specific programming languages, maybe to start with. And how's your viewpoint about this?
I guess this viewpoint isn't only mine, but 90% of world population would agree with me that the best stack to start learning software engineering at the moment is JavaScript, because you can use JavaScript on front end, you can use JavaScript on back end, you can use it on mobile. It is easy to like get started with, and a bunch of other
Yeah,
like
it
positive
has
things.
like very small learning curve, right? So you just get your hands dirty very quickly once you start learning JavaScript, and that's pretty good. I would kind of argue that Python might not be that bad of candidate as well to learn software engineering fundamentals, but JavaScript, with its nature, as you said, is really
No, trust
universal,
me,
and
guys. Trust me, guys. Yeah, JavaScript is much better. Yeah, of
yeah,
course, I'm joking. Yeah, so like Python and JavaScript are for sure two mostly like
beginner
friendly
friendly.
languages, beginner friendly languages for sure. But yeah, just due to the high demand in JavaScript, it is just simply much easier to get started in bunch of things with.
Okay, perfect. And I would just add one thing, that in the beginning, when you are starting to learn software engineering, it's all about learning fundamentals of software engineering. And by fundamentals, we mean those basic concepts which are more or less same in all different languages. So whether you learn it in JavaScript, whether you learn, for example, functions and for loops in Python, they are just same conceptually. And that's why you just need to pick one simple beginner-friendly language. And then also you're really free to pivot to another language if you don't like JavaScript, for example. So that's how it works. Okay, here's another question. How to create a good CV with zero working experience? And that's actually my question to you. How did you create your first CV with zero working experience? How was that?
Okay, I think that one of the key points that has helped me in the past was like building as many side projects as possible, working alone or working with friends on bunch of side projects, like pushing them to GitHub and including them in your CV. It kind of acted like a placeholder for actual production grade experiences in different projects and helped me quite a lot in getting my first position.
So obviously, like just to clear things up, initially no one has working experience, right?
Of
Like
course, yeah.
job experience, company working experience, and one of the best substitutions to that working experience is showcasing your side projects, right? Working on them constantly. I mean, side projects are never enough to build the job, to land the job, actually. So you should constantly do that alone and with friends. And just to mention that Nicholas and I have built a bunch of side projects together. And trust me, guys, together is much more fun to do that
Oh
than
yeah, and apart from
building
fun, I
alone.
guess, yeah, apart from being the process being fun, the most interesting challenges that I've solved in my career were on the side projects that
Yeah,
we've been
exactly.
working on.
And
So yeah.
that's whole different field to explore of software engineering, like side project engineering. That's a super thing to do, especially with peers. Okay, and you mentioned the side projects, right? And here comes another question. A person is asking, how can I do side projects if I have no idea what to do? So how did you manage to come up with side project ideas, what to implement, etc.? Could you talk a bit about that?
Oh, of course, yeah. I think the first thing that I remember doing was simply going through all the web platforms that I am using every day, that I've been using every day at that point in time, and like choosing different features, looking at different functionalities of different platforms. For
For
example,
example,
I looked at Facebook and I saw that there is a messenger, right? And what the process of messenger is that they connect to different people and let them chat with each other, right? And simply taking this kind of a subset of different functionalities for these huge products and trying to implement them separately is what has worked for me in the past for sure. And I think that is for sure the first thing most engineers could and should look at.
and just a very quick question there. Haven't you ever felt any fear in that process that you look at, obviously you don't know many things, right, at that point, and you look at this messenger app and you kind of know what you should implement in your side project, but you have no idea how. And to me sometimes it was a little bit frightening and kind of stressful that I was looking at a working product. I knew I wanted to clone it, but I had no idea how to do it.
Okay,
Have you ever faced
you
such
had,
fears?
yeah, as I remember and as I know from my experience, the worst part is not knowing where to start. So like that is the most painful point, right? And personally for me, what has worked perfectly fine is, I hope your viewers are familiar with GitHub. And what I firstly did was like go to GitHub, simply search for like chat applications, messenger applications implemented in specific technology that I was interested in, and simply like spending days and weeks to understand how that person did it, what were the decisions that were made, how they started the project, and then simply copying, well, like one by one all these components and, let's say, configurations. That was what has worked for me perfectly fine. Yeah.
Perfect. And just one more tip here. Nicholas mentioned the Messenger app, and Messenger might sound a little bit complex for super beginners. And I encourage super beginner people to start with extremely simple projects. Something like converting kilometers to miles, or convert pounds to kilograms, or uh, just use some API to translate some language text to another, or something like, I don't know, some simple ones, like as simple as it can be for a side project, but it's also a valid side project, I want to say. So just start with the simple ones, and then you will kind of gradually get to slightly more
And I
complex ones.
think this is the point that we should once again mention ChatGPT, because ChatGPT
Yeah. Good word.
exactly can like act as your supervisor, as your mentor, as a senior engineer that you could use for sure. Just ask him, what should I do step by step? That is a keyword actually in ChatGPT and
Yeah.
in generally in LLMs that you should for sure like put at the end of the sentence, and ask him to give you the plan step by step of where you should start if you want to implement X system in specific technology. It works perfectly fine, trust me.
Yeah. By the way, you just mentioned that kind of super code word LLM. Maybe you can just very shortly tell us what's that, because
Oh yeah, so like I actually am not that familiar of how it works underneath, but
no,
I've
just tell us what it is. How with your words. That's it.
yes. So the idea is that there are some research papers and bunch of presentations like showcasing that if you ask a question to ChatGPT or generally an LLM, large language model, and if you
So
ask the same,
ChatGPT is large language model, right? Would you
yeah,
say
and if
something
you
like that?
then
Okay.
simply ask the same question with at the end appended with like step by step, like ChatGPT and generally LLMs work way better in the way like discreetly and in details when you simply append the step-by-step word keyword. And this is the like feature that has not been coded directly in the LLM systems, but this is the behavior that emerged somehow through some statistical cases. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So it can be some effect of language nature, right? Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, it is just a hack.
Yeah. Great. So people, if you want to start a side project and want to implement a Facebook clone, just ask GPT. I'm a beginner software engineer. I want to implement Facebook clone. Please give me step by step what I should do, and it will work fine for you. So there will be no excuses on not knowing how to start side projects. So that's it for now. We kind of consumed all the questions I had prepared for this talk. If you want to add something, feel free to go.
Yeah, actually, just one thing that I would love to add would be feel free to contact me on any social networks in case you think that you will need my help or just to talk about stuff. So yeah, that is the only thing that I would like to add.
Yeah, that's a point I forgot to mention. Like, people will leave our LinkedIn accounts in the description, and feel free to text us with any question related to tech, not related to tech, like whatever support or advice you might need from based on our experience, we'll be more than happy to assist you. Okay. So,
Perfect.
okay, then. Thank you, Nicholas, for an
Bye
interesting
bye.
conversation, and see you. Bye.